You know when I giggle at the start of a video. Oh, you know it's going to be good. You just know you need to lock in. Here's the deal. I'm not an angry guy. Deep down, I'm actually a pretty mild, even-keeled fellow. But when things are so incredibly idiotic that they defy all logic and all common sense, I get fired up. And I'm thankful that I have a platform where I can get fired up. And I can maybe give you guys a warning about how these books are operating, these sports books, these sportsbook wannabes are operating. Or maybe I can just use this as catharsis, as a little bit of a therapy session. Because last night, I potentially lost out on what could have been 5 figures. That's $10,000. We'll talk about how right now. Underdog Sports is a book that I've typically not had an issue with. They're pretty mild in the sportsbook industry. They're more of a DFS/sportsbook. They're like a PrizePicks. They're kind of that weird gray area of we're not going to offer you lines, but we're going to offer you player props and projections. You're familiar with them. I don't need to explain what Underdog is, and quite frankly, I don't need to give them any publicity because they are morons. There goes that sponsorship. Kiss that deal goodbye. It doesn't matter because I am not going to work with a company that does this to their patrons. So they have a specific spot on their app called a streak is what it's called. And so what you do is you start building your streak. And here's a picture of the streak that I was building. You can enter it for a maximum of $10. You can play $1 to $10. And every day you can add a pick to your streak. After you hit 11, I believe it is, you can count those. It's roughly 11, which seems like a weird number now that I'm saying it out loud. 10 or 11 or 12. Once you hit that number, you get paid out roughly 10 grand, depending on the odds that you pick. Now, this one had less than fair odds in terms of 50-50, so it's paying out a little less. But depending on how I would have added more picks to this later, and I had 2 more picks to go, I probably would have won $6,000 to $7,000 had I been able to finish this streak. So what happened? I built this streak out, and last night I had a pick on Keegan Murray to record an assist. And I wake up at 6 o'clock, bright and early, minus the bright. It was dark still. And I have that bad problem that many of you probably suffer from called addiction, where the first thing I do is I roll over and I pull up the box scores and I see what bet settled by the time I fell asleep to the time I woke up. And I was curious about Keegan Murray because I got potentially $5,000 and $6,000 on the line. I'm going to want to make sure I kept my streak. I look at the box score and I see that according to NBA.com and ESPN, that Keegan Murray had an assist. Awesome. The streak continues. I have 2 more picks until I can win $6,000, $7,000. I get on the sportsbook. I get on Underdog. I load it up and I see a big red X. Well, that's funny because very clearly Keegan Murray had an assist last night. Now, I know from previous experience in prior situations with sportsbooks that they often base their settlement decisions on specific stats. And in Underdog's case, they base it around the official NBA stats. So that is why I went to the official NBA stat page, the official game log of the NBA. And I saw he had an assist. I said, what's up with this? This isn't right. This is in fact very wrong. So I'm going to message support as I do so often. If this was a FanDuel, a DraftKings, a Bet365, a BetMGM, a Caesars, anything that is a fully regulated sports book with a chat, with you know the books I'm referring to, the official ones. If it's one of those and you message chat and you can provide actual info and proof that you won your bet, that the stat is what it is, that Keegan Murray had an assist, they will fix it. And I expected Underdog to do the same. So what did I do? I sent a message, and I got this message back from Mason. And I want you guys to take in what Mason has to say, and I'm not blaming Mason. And Mason, I'm sure you are a great guy. Mason, I'm sure that if I saw you, at my daughter's t-ball game, I'd shake your hand, and I'd say, I know, Mason, you're just trying to earn a living like the rest of us. It's not your fault. But I think deep down, Mason would know that what he typed up here is asinine, is idiotic, is stupid, is ridiculous, is more adjectives that mean all of those things. Thanks for reaching out. More than happy to explain here. These projections are scored automatically through the official league data feed. So how the stat is officially scored on their end is what we grade our projections with. We don't manually adjust any of these stats, so it's possible the league could have made a stat correction on their end that changed the value of the player's stat. In other words, the league could have came to a conclusion based on actual evidence and data, proof, and made the stat correct. Do we see that the word correction contains the word correct? The root of the word correction is correct. Correct means right. Correct means good. Like, per our rules, any stat corrections handed down post-settlement are not factored into grading projections. So, Mason, you mean to tell me that if the NBA checks their work before finalizing a box score, as we are so often taught to do from a young age, from the ripe age of kindergarten, maybe even before, check your work before turning something in, proofread. So when the NBA does that, and they say, oh, Keegan Murray did have an assist, let's give him one, right? Officially. Like, for Keegan Murray's NBA history, that goes down in his stat log as an assist. Period. But it counts as a loss on your sportsbook because, oh, we already graded it. Well, you graded it wrong. Let's just be very, very clear, Underdog. You've graded it wrong. And you're refusing to grade it right. Let me say that one more time. Underdog Sportsbook, a multi-million-dollar company in charge of handling multi-million dollars of wagers every year. They have the advertising. They have everything. They do the sponsorships. They have it all. Underdog Sportsbook is a premier pick-em app. They are on top of their stuff. And their bylaws state, their procedures state, that if we've settled it and there's a correction, and Keegan Murray actually gets credited for assist because he did actually have an assist in the game, and you pick him to have an assist, but we've already settled it, you're out of luck. Huh? Run that back for me, Underdog. So I went to terms of service. I went into the depths. And as you can see, I typed in the word stat. And that is the first four letters of the word state. So there were 65 entries. I finally found what I was looking for, going through all of this legal jargon that Underdog provides. And it says, price calculations are based on results as of the time when the final score is tabulated by Underdog. So they make the call when the final score is decided. Once winners are initially announced, the scoring results will not be changed in light of official adjustments. Let me say that again. The scoring results will not be changed in light of official adjustment. Official adjustments made by leagues or associations, including but not limited to the NBA. Though we reserve the right to make adjustments based on errors or irregularities in the transmission of information to us from our stats provider or in our calculation of results, we may also make adjustments in the event of non-compliance with the terms. Underdog has no obligation to delay it doesn't matter the rest of this. What matters is they acknowledge in their terms of service, guys, this is a regulated sportsbook. This is a regulated multi-million-dollar company that is containing in their terms, that is saying, plain as day, stating with no regard for common sense, that if it is understood that a player was awarded a specific stat, in this case an assist, as a correction, as an official correction by the NBA, they are under no obligation to do the same. Huh? I get it. It would be complicated to have a system in place that always had to backcheck and double check stat corrections. I understand why this is in here. In some weird, twisted business protection way, I understand why this exists. But as a human, just like any human who is sitting on the other side of the Underdog chat support understands, this is ridiculous. If someone, a customer, is bringing attention to it and asking, the fact that they can't say, oh, you're right, it was corrected afterwards. Typically, our terms say we don't correct these, but because it's clear that he got an assist, which is what you bet, we're going to give it to you. And anybody else who messages us and has this issue, we'll correct it. Like, I get it. I get the blanket corrections get dicey. But if a customer comes to you and says, Keegan Murray officially had an assist, I bet him to have an assist, and your response is, well, we graded it already when he didn't have one, that's a problem. I mean, that's an issue. So could I go to the gaming commission with this? I could. I've gone to the gaming commission. I've won arguments with DraftKings because of a ridiculous thing that they put me through. That video is on my channel. You can watch it. It's how I lost an arbitrage bet because they graded 60 seconds in a weird way. This I don't have confidence in because of the fact that it's in their terms that they can do this, which is insane. That's just nuts. So be careful out there. And every day that passes, I just wonder what we are in store for in this wild, wild west where the books are in control.